Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. After an energetic, tense match, it's up to Ante Milicic to say a few words to you. You know the system, we have French, we have Norwegian, we have English. And if you have a hand, fingers, you get a microphone to ask your questions. Anyone, please.
Ante, Emma Kemp here from News Corp Australia, asking my question in English. What an emotional roller coaster. I mean, you had your backs against the wall for so much of it. You could have gone up 2-0 in the first 10 minutes, and then there was a penalty decision, then the equaliser, then the red card, and then, the penalties. How are you feeling right now? And what's your initial reaction?
I don't know if there's any words to describe how I'm feeling, but more importantly, how the girls are feeling. I think you mentioned there that first 10-15 minutes we started really, really well, and I think we had clear-cut chances to take the lead. And then unfortunately we can talk about a lot of decisions, the referee coming back, the spirit the girls showed to get back in the game, the send-off, the shootout. There's a lot to comment on, but in the end, I'm extremely disappointed. We're eliminated. We go home.
It was Michael Lynch from the Sydney Morning Herald and the Melbourne Age in English. It was, as my colleague said, an emotional roller coaster. But do you feel that's been the tenor of this tournament completely? You've never really got on the front foot and, bar the Jamaica game, been able to dominate any game yourselves?
No, I disagree. I think that, in fact, I know in every game we dominated possession. We dominated more shots than the opposition. We had better field territory than all three opponents we had in the group stage. We came back from 2-0 down against Brazil, against Jamaica, an Australian player scoring 4 goals. I thought that, we deserved our place to go through in the group. Tonight could have gone either way. I'm extremely proud of the girls, what they had to come up against, especially with a day less rest than the girls that recovered. We put in a strong performance, but in the end we just fell short.
David Bash, 1-2. From SBS, question in English, Ante. Did you feel that it was a valid red card to Alana Kennedy?
No, look, I've just had a quick look at it on the computer. Yeah, she's obviously disappointed. I felt that the ball was going to the goalkeeper, but in the end, it changes momentum, changes your shape. You're hanging on in extra time. So I thought that a lot of the big decisions tonight didn't go our way, and maybe on another night it could have. But it's over with. It's done. So we can sit here and talk. Was it this or that? But in the end, I feel for Alana because she's been outstanding all tournament, and she doesn't deserve to finish her tournament individually in that manner.
Hello, I'm Emmanuel Baranguet from Agence France Presse, speaking in English. It happened to the best player in the world, but what did you say to Sanker, who missed the first
Agence
penalty?
France
What did you say to her to comfort her?
Look, I'm extremely proud of Sand, and as an Australian coach, to be able to work with her has been an excellent experience for me. All I will say is that only big players can miss penalties because small ones don't take them.
Kieran Pender from The Guardian, question in English. What will you be saying to the players later tonight to try and console them?
Those things you don't rehearse, you don't practice. We get back to the hotel. We understand that we depart tomorrow assembly, and it's too emotional, and there's too much disappointment in me now to come up with some words. But what I will say is that I'm extremely proud of them, and it's been an honour to work with this group. They're a special bunch of girls, and they've grown ever so close to me, and I'm just disappointed that I couldn't help them realise a dream that they've been waiting for a long time, and in the end I take full responsibility for that, and I just hope tomorrow they can in some way pick themselves up and carry on.
Richard Barkin, Guardian, English. Ante, you're known as a meticulous planner. You put a lot of detail, a lot of preparations into each game. Is it frustrating then to witness what felt like the biggest crapshoot of a football game that anyone's ever seen?
The only thing I can say is the staff has been amazing. The work that we've done, the scenarios, the detail, the information, the preparation was excellent. You know what? We gave everything. We did whatever we could, and that hurts because I felt we deserved more. But you know, that's why we're obsessed with this game, because anything's possible, and I've been involved in games as a player, as a coach, and just sitting at home watching games, and you know, I won't fall in love with the game after tonight, but gee, that hurt me.
Question in English, Ben McKay from AAP. How much do you think Australia's performance this tournament was defined by things you couldn't control? Injuries to key players? I mean, we had an all-star player in Kellen Knight in midfield from last tournament who didn't get to play there at all.
Oh. Yeah, look, I think at the start, when I first tried to put the squad together from the list, you go back to Kaya Simon as well, not playing the football. Then we had the Laura Alloway injury. A lot of girls didn't probably get the football they needed before the World Cup, and that's, I think, something that we as a national team need to look at their destination and their choices of where they are playing their club football. But you know, ultimately we came into a game today where we had players that probably weren't having the cohesion together as a team, but we played with what we all discussed and thought was the strongest possible 11 to start a game, and yeah, it's frustrating for a few of those girls that didn't come to this tournament in the shape that they wanted. But again, we don't make excuses. Yeah, I'm sure a couple of other teams, you know, missed out on a couple, so it is what it is, and we just move forward. But what I will say is I think we've given a few young ones some opportunities as well, and we've exposed them to the environment. We also had young Kyra Cooney-Cross in with us as well, and yeah, she becomes a better player for spending time in camp. You know, I think Rosbacken has shown that she's one that we need to work with and move forward. Now, it was even good to see Amy Harrison with the injuries she's had to get, you know, to be a World Cup player now. So a couple of them got something, but in the end, we really have to look at a few of those scenarios.
Okay, two more.
Question in English, Anna Harrington, Fox Sports Australia. Ante, you mentioned cohesion and also how close you've grown to this group. It's well publicised how short a time period relatively you've had with this team. I guess, 5-6 months. How has that affected it? And because it sounds like you have grown close to this group, but given you're so meticulous, how has it affected the preparation?
Well, I've really felt that we're in a position to grow and improve and make small steps in the right direction. I thought when we did play our playing style and kept the ball and stuck to our principles, we looked a good team. It was just probably at times we just couldn't dominate the games like we wanted to for longer periods of the match. And in the end, yeah, I look at this opposition for tonight and I look at how often their 11 has played together. They're really got a good understanding, and that comes as well from time together and a lot of tournaments. But gee, the European women's game is moving so strong in the right direction. I think particularly the last few years, you look at how the leagues are improving in Europe and the investments that these these countries are giving to the girls, I think that it's real benefits for them. And in the end, we'll review the tournament, of course, and we'll just look to get better and improve and move forward from there.
Final question, please.
On the topic of the Norwegian team, how do you reflect on their performance and how deep in the tournament do you think they can go?
You know what? They beat us. How far they go in the tournament doesn't interest me. Good luck to them. Congratulations. They won the game. Simple.
Thank you very much, Ante Milicic.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here.
So good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. We are now starting the press conference with Team Norway. But before we start, I'd like to present the player of the match, who was selected by Visa and presented by Visa and selected by the fans on FIFA.com, Caroline Graham Hansen. Oh, thanks. So congratulations. And let's start the press conference with the first questions to Caroline. And if you do have a question, remember, please raise your hand and the microphone will go to you. And you need to let us know the language that you'll be asking the question, your name, and the organizations that you work for. So let's get started with the first question to the player, please.
Hello, I'm Emmanuel Baranguet, working with Agence France Presse. I speak in English. You had a lot of opportunities during the game, and you didn't succeed to score. Were you stressed when you get your penalty?
No, I wasn't stressed at all. We have such a high confidence level in our team, and Martin just said to us that no matter what happened out there now, we do this together, and it doesn't really matter, because we have done a fantastic job so far, and that was, I think, really the point of no return for us, because then everybody just relaxed and went out there and did their job. So it was just this really nice feeling of confidence in the group, and to be honest, it looked like we hadn't done anything else than done penalties our whole life. It was really controlled and a fantastic team effort on the penalty shootout.
Thank you. So now, Caroline, if you want, you can leave, or if you want to stay. You have another question? Okay. Let's, the micro.
I understood with Isabella Herlovsen that he gave you a little hello. Who gave you a hello and a salute before the game here? Oh, I got a lot of messages, and it was and it's just a thing about how good the atmosphere here is. And going through the interview zone was just wonderful and full of happiness. So. And it was emotional still. It meant a lot for all the messages from back home, sure.
Thank you.
So now we can continue the press conference, and I'd like to welcome Coach Martin Sugar. Next question.
Colin kaller point of no return, eller hon sa med det du sa.
She said it was a sort of a point of no return when you got prepared for the penalty shootout. What did you say to the players? How did you motivate them?
När det kommer till straffar så handlar det ju
when you get to a penalty shootout
om att klara av de här konsekvenstankarna som kommer.
What you have to deal with is a consequence thinking.
Det är jobbigt att vara den som eventuellt
of course
då missar.
It's difficult when you have to be the one that there's always a danger you can be the one who misses.
Gruppens styrka och det.
But I'd like to underline the strength of the group here, and that helps us. And we're really proud of what we've been doing together. If we win, we win as a team, and if we lose, we lose together. Absolutely no one will be the scapegoat in our group.
Det var inte mer avancerat än så, men någonstans så tycker
jag det kännetecknar more advanced than that.
På det sättet som vi hanterar den situationen.
And I really had a good feeling.
Det är inte helt enkelt, och vi har spelare som har gjort det tidigare. Vi har många spelare.
Of course it's difficult for players who don't have the experience with the penalty shootouts at this level.
Som var lite tveksam på om hon ville lägga eller inte, men vi sa det, vi vågar stå fram och
Syrsta Engen, she was a little doubtful if she wanted to, but she decided to do it, and she went there and actually did it. So, and it's not her first penalty, so I'm really content with how we handled all this pressure and stress.
Rob Sills from University of Derby in English. In the next round you could potentially face England if they beat Cameroon. What are your initial impressions of them throughout the tournament so far?
Jag tycker att England har gjort en bra VM hittills.
Well, England has made a really good job in the World Cup. And we looked at their matches, they're impressive. They are very stable. They don't let in any chances of goal at all, almost. So England is a very good team, but they're not in the quarterfinal yet. They had to beat Cameroon first. So let's let them start with that, and then we can see what we'll do.
Any other question?
Tom Engelhardt from theafc.com in English. Going through such a grueling, difficult match, 120 minutes, and emerging still alive in this tournament, does it give you the feeling that anything is possible now for your team?
Det är klart att det ger oss en extrem boost.
Of course, it gives us an extreme boost and self-confidence to move on. But in the same time, it takes out a bit of our energy. But the most important now is, first of all, to get back, yes, of course, physically, but still, we have to get back mentally before the match with England. And having won,
som ändå lyckades vinna till slut, så tror jag också att vi kommer att kunna
having the chance to win, I think that will download our freshness in the head quite quickly. So I think we're going to have a team that really want to play the next time we're going out on the field.
Any other question? No? Okay. So we are now over with press conference Team Norway. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, coach, and congratulations once again.